So Sean, in this seller's market, what kind of strategies are you implementing to make your buyer's offer stand out?
One of the first things that we're doing with a lot of our clients is obviously getting them fully pre-approved. So when we do a pre-approval, we're requesting their income documents, their asset documents, we're verifying everything. That way, when you submit an offer and use our pre-approval letter,
right,
that listing agent knows that everything's been verified. And one thing that we do up front is that when you submit that offer, we're actually calling the listing agent as well to let them know, hey, I verified everything. This is a solid pre-approval. Because over the years, right, there's so many of these lenders that they just throw out pre-approval letters that, believe it or not, listing agents out there, they have blacklists of lenders of who not to deal with.
Oh, wow.
So they know that if they're seeing a pre-approval letter from a certain lender or a certain bank or even maybe a certain loan officer, that thing might go to the bottom of the list because they know that maybe they haven't performed in the past or they just have a bad reputation.
Yeah.
So for us, that's super important that we maintain that. That way, when our offers do go out and they see that my name's on that pre-approval letter or Loan Depot,
right,
they know that that thing is good as cash. And then another thing that we're doing too is we're submitting our files up front to our underwriter so we get an approval.
Okay.
And the reason why we're doing that is we want to be able to shrink and shorten up our closing time and go from a typical 30-day close to 3 weeks or less.
Wow.
In some instances, we've been able to even get deals done in a couple of weeks. So when you're writing offers and you're one of, who knows, 5 or 10 other offers that are out there.
Correct.
If every other lender is saying, hey, it's going to take us 30 days to close and we can do it in, let's say, 15 days or 20 days, that gives us a leg up to hopefully try to help make your job a little easier. So, when we work with our clients, that's the goal, right? It's not just to verify and give them options, but to give them a good strategy so that way we can get their offer accepted.
Yes.
Because if not, it's tough for you to just keep showing properties and keep writing offers and just, keep getting rejected, right?
Right.
Every client's going to get frustrated to a certain extent.
And that's huge. Like, 3 weeks closing, Sean, that's incredible that you guys could do it. That's almost like a cash offer, guys, because we usually, for cash offers, we give it like 2 to 3 weeks so that, we cover the due diligence period, the inspection, the appraisal, and I think that's huge, especially in this market when we're competing with so many cash offers. Even in our luxury market, we have cash offers for homes, in between $1 million to $3 million.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to compete with a cash offer in this market. So it's wonderful to see that.
A lot of guys get very discouraged, right? After you go out a few times and you submit offers and they keep getting rejected. So it was something that we started to implement, over the last couple of months, just because a lot of our clients were getting frustrated.
Yep.
And from my standpoint, I was like, man, there's got to be something we can do on our side. Even as a lender, right? If you're not even reaching out, that's like the bare minimum of what you should be doing. And it's funny because I've had other agents, that they've submitted offers and they never keep us in the loop.
Right.
Which you always do an amazing job of doing that. So, kudos to you there. I had one that she wrote 5 offers, never told me about the fact that they were writing offers.
Wow.
And I was like, why didn't you tell me?
Yeah.
And she literally sent me an offer that they wrote that day. I called the agent, and in an hour, they accepted our offer.
Wonderful.
So, same thing. That client was about to give up, but that's where I think, not only doing all this other work, but it's the teamwork and the communication, that
Absolutely.
I think is super important in today's market to help get offers accepted.
Yeah, communication is key, and we have such a great communication between your team and my team that, I'll always keep you posted if we're drafting an offer, it's been sent, who the listing agent is, and Sean's very creative, so he does actually video text messages. So talk about that.
Again, anything to make us stand out. If they don't answer the phone, I'll send a video text, just so that way they know we're local. We're here in Las Vegas. It's not just some guy that's sitting in a call center in a cubicle in Kansas somewhere. I've been in this industry here in Las Vegas for 15 years.
Yep.
And I've done a lot of loans out here. So if they can put a name to the face or at least, reassure them. And I think that's one thing a lot of listing agents and sellers want, right? Is reassurance that if I take your offer, you can perform.
Absolutely.
So it's just to put a little more personalization on it. And it's been helping us get offers
Helping us,
accepted.
yeah,
So,
absolutely. So we just have one currently in escrow, and the listing agent has worked with Sean in the past. So I mean, you're like, hey, bro, like you have that relationship, right?
Yeah,
and like,
absolutely.
it's just so much better for me because they have a working relationship, and myself, my broker Randy, who's been doing this for 25 years here in Vegas, we have the reputation, and people know our brokerage too. So they obviously know who we're represented by.
Yep, and I think that's something that, it's not even on paper, right? That people need to understand that even as you're shopping around, interviewing real estate agents, it's not just about maybe who answers the phone the fastest or gives you the answer that you want to hear, but more of their reputation, right? So I always talk about it all the time, how to find a good lender. You can go to websites and look people up, but look at their social media. Do they have a good track record? Are they helping their clients out? And I think that's a great way for people to understand that reputation matters, right? And how can you look that up?
Right.
To me, you use social media, so to your credit, and obviously, with your team, you guys have been around for a long time, and it carries weight, and you can't argue that.
Right. Absolutely. So for me, how I make my buyer's offer stand out, it's again, huge communication and transparency with the listing agent.
Yep.
We need to understand where the seller is coming from. Like, why are they selling their house? Are they moving? Are they relocating? Are they maybe waiting for a new custom home being built right now? Do they need lease back?
Yeah.
All those factors are very important.
Yep.
And you'd be surprised, a lot of agents don't ask that question. And for me, that's the first question I ask.
Yep.
What's going on? And then second question, what's going on? Have you received any offers? Are we competing with cash offers? What are we dealing with right now? Are you on the timeline? A lot of people are like, okay, well, we're gonna obviously do some open houses and showings over the weekend, and then maybe Monday, Tuesday is when they're gonna present all the offers to the seller and make a decision. So knowing that timeline is very critical. And again, just over communicating with the listing agent.
I think one thing that I've seen from my side that you did an excellent job on a few of the deals that you got accepted was we weren't always the highest bid. Right. So I think it's, like you said, asking those questions and kind of personalizing the transaction.
Yes.
And not just because there's a lot of people that I know that they just write offers, no matter what.
Yep.
And I think asking those questions and having a strategy is super important. And I think for people that are watching this, that if you guys are shopping around, you have to ask your agent what's their strategy to help you get your offer accepted.
Yep.
And if all they can tell you is you have to pay 10 or 20,000 above the list price, anybody can do that.
Right.
Exactly. And just recently, we actually got an offer in escrow today. So happy Friday. What a great way to start the weekend. Super excited. And this agent had multiple offers, and there were higher bids in the running. And why did he choose us? Because he loved the working style that I had, very transparent, very open, keeping in the loop of everything. Yeah. And then also, what was important for the seller, and again, every seller has a difference, right?
Yeah,
like what's
absolutely.
important for them is not always the case for everybody. But what was important for the sellers, number one, they were actually downsizing, so they didn't want any of their furniture. And for my buyer, as an investor, he wanted the furniture because he wants to rent out the property.
Nice.
So that was a win-win.
Yep.
And then the second point was the title. The seller preferred a specific title company and a title agent. The title company ended up being one of our preferred title company, WFG National. So that was already great.
Yep.
And they just had a specific agent they wanted to work with, and I was like, I know her too.
Perfect.
Let's work with her.
Yeah.
So that was the two things that was most important for them, and we were able to make them, make it work basically for them.
There you go. But
So
you got to
that's
ask the questions, right?
Yeah, you got to ask, and you'd be surprised that a lot of people don't.
Yep.